Mama. Ah.
Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest. To defend our unity, uphold our honor and glory. Tèmi ò ní fọwọ́ sọ̀yà. Ọmọ Naija máa ní
A very good evening to everyone who is online with me today, or should I say, a very good morning to everyone who's online with me. I really appreciate people who are waiting online. I really want to say a very big thank you for bearing this very late program with me today. It's a shame that something has to start late sometimes because of the magnitude of what is at stake. It was there to promote cooperation between the two countries, but was dissolved by Senegal on the 30th of December 1989, after the Gambia refused to move closer towards the Union. The Senegambia Confederation should not be confused with the Historia Senegambia region as shortened to Senegambia. Today, I have some few people on my panel today who are going to discuss this to the highest order. Nigeria is what we're talking about today. So today on the panel, I have the following people with me. I'm not going to do justice to their name. So instead of doing their name myself, I'm going to let them do it themselves, and then we take it from there. First, on my left-hand side now, because the system is always the other way around. First on my left-hand side is Frank Bello, one of the usual on this channel. Frank Bello, could you please introduce yourself to our audience once again, please?
Yes, hi, good evening, guys. Yes, my name is Frank Bello, and you guys, I'm not new in this platform. I'm a very, very strong supporter and an advocate of the Oduduwa Republic. I have not hidden my ambition to see an Oduduwa Republic emerge, and I'm here basically to do a fantastic piece of presentation for the whole world to see why we need Biafra and Oduduwa Republic as the new emerging nations in Nigeria. Over to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Frank Bello. Then I have one of my grandfather in the house. I'm not going to do his name as well. I think his camera is actually frozen. So I'm going to go to the next one right underneath me on the screen. Sir, good evening. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Good evening. My name is Aga Ibiam. Well invited to join in this discussion, and I'm well pleased to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. Then to the far end, immediately after the logo in the middle, underneath the young man that the camera is frozen out at the moment. I think two cameras actually frozen. I have Antia Benjamin and Alex Ajala. Before the camera comes back, we're going to start a discussion so that we can get the ball rolling. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who has joined us today. It was fantastic to have you guys with us today, and we promise to make it another cracking session for you in which you will really enjoy to the maximum. First of all, emerging nation, new nation, coming out of Nigeria. Should I start with Frank Bello? Because I really want people to understand the reason behind it. Frank, over to you.
Yes, I think earlier on today, without any shadow of doubt, I think.
Frank, can I take it away from you for a second? I've got Mr. Benjamin Camera just come back. Mr. Benjamin, welcome to the show. Can you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
All right, thank you very much, CEO. My name is Benjamin Antia Magoya, and currently I'm the chairman Niger Delta Forum UK. I'm really honored to be on this platform with you guys today. So it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So today we said we want to talk about the new emerging nation coming out of Africa, coming out of Nigeria specifically, because we've seen my introduction in the beginning to say Senegambia was actually dissolved on the 30th of September 1989, when one party was not functioning the way they're supposed to function. And who is that one? The Gambia refused to move closer towards the union. So they break it up and everybody goes their way. And since then, there's been peace in that place. Gambia is functioning. Gambia is functioning. Senegal is functioning. So why can't it happen in Nigeria? I will go back to Frank Bello on that one.
Yes, thank you very much, moderator. I think when you look straight into the history of Senegambia, Senegambia was a battle between the French and the British. Those two countries, they were one before. They speak the same language. They've got the same culture. They've got the same identity. But obviously, because of that dissection of Africa into bits and pieces, created that rough environment in Gambia and Senegal, to which the British, as a matter of fact, carved out a very small, tiny Gambia right inside Senegal. Now, when you look at the geography or the topography of, geography of Gambia, you will find that from one single point of Gambia to Senegal, you can't travel more than 25 kilometers before you land yourself into Senegal. So this was part of the fraud that the colonialists created, and the same fraud was actually perpetrated in the case that we have to argue and we have to present this evening, because Nigeria, from time immemorial, was meant to be a three nations that was molded up into one. And for me, I've got so many slides that I want to present to prove this argument for those who want to see it. Maybe it is the best time if you want me to go through those slides, or
not
you want
yet,
to take contributions from the others.
Put in some few words first before we start going into that one. So I'm going to take it off you quickly. I'm going to give it to Brother Benjamin to say exactly what he wants to say as his opening.
Please, can you come up with the volume? I really can hear
You
you.
find it difficult to hear me, okay? Let me try and pump up my own volume a little bit. What I'm saying is that, 1 second. Okay. What about now? Can you hear me now? Is it better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you very much for that. I said, we want to discuss this. Biafran, Niger Delta, South-South, Southeast, Northeast, Northwest, Middle Belt. Is it becoming messy? Or why do we have so many? Over to you.
Okay. From my own point, I think from the amalgamation of Nigeria, from inception by the British people, what we realize today is faults, mistakes, and misconceptions all through. You can see that from the very beginning days being different notions towards that. So that means that there was no appropriate arrangement that was put in place regarding this kind of issue. So what we're seeing today right here is as a result of the misconception and all the mistakes that was done. Today we are beginning to see people like the Igbos, the Easterners waking up and demanding for the state of Biafra. You have the Oduas standing on their own, demanding for their own, and you have the Niger Deltans as well, who are still agitating for not that secession per se, not that they don't want secession, they are agitating to have a good life. So the way the whole thing has turned out, the whole play has become very funny, and you can see misplacement. You can see a whole lot of I don't even know how to put that. So you can see the confusion in the middle. So everyone popping out trying to have trying to go back to region and trying to do this, and that shows that there is no unity in the country, and that we do not even understand our left to right. There is a lot to be done if we want to talk about bringing Nigeria to what it should be. You understand? So maybe as we go into the whole details, I'll be able to cover understand what I'm talking about, because, like me, I come from a Bible church, as you know very well. I happen to belong to the southern part of the country, which, in real sense, from our own production line, from what we mean to the nation, um, we should be able to have, or we should be able to call the shot for once, or we should be able to have a nation of our own, with all the natural resources that we have, so that we can at least feel like a people. If you look at the whole thing, when they say we want to go back to region, we want to go back to west, we want to go back to east, we want to go back to north, where do you keep the United Delta? Where do you keep this condition of people who do not accept to be part of these other people and the other people? So there's a lot to be done.
Let me go back there. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. Daddy Ajala is back with us. So, Daddy, can you give us a brief introduction? Introduce yourself to us, and then combine the introduction with your opening speech, sir. Go ahead.
I'm Mr. Alex Ajala, and I'm sorry, my laptop gave up the battery. I actually bought a new battery to fix, but I've not had time to fix it. The battery is over 5 years old on the machine. It was very powerful. So it just went off on me, and I'm now using my mobile phone, which I mounted on a selfie stick. So I'm able to listen to you using a headphone. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you, Daddy. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I just said I'm Mr. Alex Ajala. I have been in this, what I'll call the discourse for the better part of my life. I first of all moved out into discussing this thing openly in 1974. And what prompted it? Before that time, in my early days in the primary school and secondary school, I've always told my friends that this contraction called Nigeria does not seem to work, and it will never work. Then they will tell me, you're enjoying it. But that time we were in Western region. Don't you see everything's okay? We have free health service, we have all that. I said, yes, but the moment we get into a Nigeria that we don't have a hand in creating, that was my formative years, then we're going to have problems. And that we are going to have continuous bloodletting. And then when I checked the records growing up, I found that in 1953, when Akintola went to the north to try to convince them to join the agitation for independence, which was initially proposed by Enahoro, he was not allowed to step off of his plane in Kano. He was forced back south. And the following day, there was a mini program in the north. If you check the records, 1953, people were killed of certain origin. Unfortunately, most of those killed were Igbo. It's not just the Civil War time that the killings have started. It started even before I was born. It started way back from the time the country was created in 1914. And also during that time up to from 1906 up to the creation, money was always taken from the south to manage up the administration of the north. We have all the records. At some point, we were going to detail this out and publish. There's a big reason why we could no longer continue the existence of an amalgamated territory called Nigeria. It's not a nation, I keep on saying. It does not qualify to be a nation. It's just a territory that is large, containing different nationalities. The Yoruba group of kingdoms, the Igbo Republican states, the Hausa Emirates, and the Caliphates, and then the Middle Belt area, smaller nations, and the South is composed of smaller nations too. These are the things we should have seen from a long time, because the request for independence was wrongly made by those who represented us, particularly from the South. The North went with a prepared text. The South did not go with a prepared text because they felt they were intelligent enough to just negotiate without putting a ground rule of what should be in the future new nations they were, the new country they were taking away from the British. We are like an abandoned marketplace. Nigeria, the owners of the marketplace ran away and said, oh, the rest of you on top of this market, we give you independence, do whatever you like, because you said you are going to stay together. 1957, we were given a chance to have our independence with Ghana, but our people in the South, both the West and the East, also created by the reason to administer those territories for their benefit, not for our benefit. Even those in the West, we took over the territory and we administered it to suit our people. We refused. We said, well, it's in the daily times of those days. We are waiting for our brothers from the North to take their self-government, then we will have independence together. And they did not take their self-government until 1959, just on the eve of the elections. And that election itself, the East and West were given the minimal electoral constituencies, whereas it's the East and West that has most of the population in Africa. In Africa. See, the West was given 57 seats, where you have the most aggregate of cities and towns in Africa, the West, if you check your geography. And the East was given 77 seats. The North, with this vast empty land, was given 168 seats. And the rest of the seats were given to the colony of Lagos. So what I'm saying now is that even before that 1959 election was held, it was already won, because the North was not going to vote for the South. The Northern Party was Northern People's Congress. The Western Party was Action Group. And then the one that sort of tried to emulate a national base, which it didn't in the first place, was the NCNC, National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons. So you see that from the beginning, we had already failed as a country, not a nation. I keep on stressing. We are not a nation. Yeah.
Thank you.
And just before I go, there's also a very interesting chronology of events detailed by Mr. Lansef in this book. He called Nigeria the shadow of a great nation. When he came and gave us these books before he died, I told him clearly, it's not a great nation, it's not in the first place, because us Africans who are supposed to be speaking English language do not look at the roots of the words we use, and therefore we confuse ourselves. we do not understand the language, even though we speak it and we think that we speak it well. We don't know the roots, the etymological foundations of most words used. That's another major problem we have. So by not understanding it, okay, like some people, one person was announcing that the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria. How can you call over 60 million a tribe? Will you call the English people in United Kingdom, who consists about 45 million of the people in the United Kingdom, a tribe? The answer is no. So you see, anthropologically, we've always insulted ourselves because we don't know the meaning of most of the words we use. It's an insult to call a people that are above a million a tribe. It's a nation.
Okay, Daddy, so that it doesn't become boring to our people, let me take you away from you a little bit. Or let me analyze this one a little bit more. I'm going to stipulate the rule quickly so that we know what we're doing and make it easy for ourselves. Yeah. Number one, when you're talking and you're seeing yourself alone, you can keep talking. If you see me and you can keep talking. If you see the sixth screen where you see everything on the screen, then it means you need to round up what you're saying. Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
So you said from 1974, you knew this was a fraud.
Yeah, even much earlier. It was 74. I started talking more openly to people I know.
Let me go to my brother down south a little bit. Brother, what is your own impression about this amalgamation that started in 1914, sir? Go ahead.
Well, thank you. The little I know about the amalgamation is that, which was hurriedly put by the British for their own interest, whether selfish or not selfish. Because if you look at what is happening today, you will find out that the Western world, the British in particular, aligning themselves more to the north than the rest of the country. I have never seen where, for instance, Justin Welby coming to Nigeria will visit Southeast, Enugu, for instance, or Lagos. He would rather go to the north because he had made friends with the northern people. And that tells you that the country already are really having more friends from UK. If that is the case, then the question is, why such an agenda? Well, the point I want to make here from what you asked is that the amalgamation, as I understand it today, I'm a product of Nigerian Biafran War, and I know what we suffered. And I tell you, where I am not pleased with this present government is that the same man took a gun to the southeast to kill my parents. Is the same man that is allowing or deploying military to kill my mates now. Possibly if I was in Nigeria, who knows what would have happened to me. So the point I'm making is that we need to redefine the amalgamation of Nigeria. If other countries like Senegambia, which Frank Bello has just pointed out, and Congo, and the rest of these tiny African countries, why can't Nigeria at this time look at what is on ground and see what they can do? I'll give you an instance. If UK decided to break away, which is the Brexit from Europe, I think it's also obvious that Southwest, or the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the rest of our brothers should also think of exiting, whatever we call it. Let there be exit. If you have a child who doesn't grow, what do? Nigeria is not growing. And I have been privileged, all right, to listen face to face with one of our presidents in Nigeria, and he categorically said that The people drawing Nigeria back are the Northerners. Again, I have also listened to a high commissioner in London who said Nigeria cannot go beyond where they are. Honestly speaking, we are, if I say we have waited a long time, I think I am right. We can't remain in this situation and think we can make progress. Just take, for instance, the recent transportation of the Almajaris to the south, to the core south. What are they going there for? Before I can visit the north, possibly to settle there, I would have paid my rent up to XYZ months. I can't go and live on the street, to litter the street, wee on the street, and defecate everywhere. These people, imagine having a trailer load of about 915 going to the south. What are they going for? Where will they stay? How will they make their livings? So, my dear, amalgamation should be revisited, and then let us see where we stand.
Okay, thank you very much, brother. I'm gonna stipulate some few strict law tonight. Tonight we're discussing something very serious, very important. If you insult anybody today, we will block you. Admin, anybody that insult today, please block them. First of all, give them one warning, which I'm giving everybody now. A warning: please, no insult today. We are discussing something important, something not just important, but very, very important that will affect everybody's issue. It will affect you, it will affect me, it will affect our generations to come. So let's take it serious. You're doing your final exam and you're messing about, you're throwing paper and you're throwing pens. Where are you going to get to? We need to grow up as a nation. So let's do this one properly and carry on with it. Let me give it to.
Sorry if I may interrupt.
Okay, go ahead. Daddy.
Our line of thought.
Yeah.
As a people, not a nation.
As a people.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better.
As a people. Thank you very much, Daddy, for correction. This is why we have adult on the platform today, because we want to learn from them. We want to learn. We want to tap into their brain and see what is going on there. Should we start the presentation with Frank Bello quickly, because this will enlighten a lot of people, and then we will now come back to where we want to be. Frank, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Hi guys. I'm going to take you through. Am I live online? Have I hooked up to the studio?
Yes, you are there. You are there. Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm not showing you yet. I want you to get to where you want to be before I show you.
Okay. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Go ahead.
Right, guys. Hi. You're looking at some fantastic piece of presentation in front of your screen. And first and foremost, this is very you're familiar with this, everyone, all the audiences, the viewers across the whole world, and all the guests at the studio. Now here you've got, well, their federal coat of arms, but definitely not Biafran or Oduduwa coat of arms. And there, a lot of people perhaps don't know because they've taken social studies, history out of the curriculum. But I knew about all this when I was in primary, long time when, I knew about it immediately after the independence. River Niger, River Benue. They met there at a point in Lokoja, and they both flowed together down that way, and they emptied themselves into the Bight of Benin. In other words, the Atlantic Ocean. Now,
and Bight of Biafra too.
Yeah, that's right, because they were they all scattered at the top end, at the bottom end here. Now, to the left here, in the formation was Western region, Eastern region, northern region. We're talking about the three regions. We're not talking about tribe. We're not talking about Biafra. We're talking about three component regions, different regions. So that is your north, that is your west, and that is your east. So, and I am very careful when I'm talking. I always refer to the east and west. All right, so we've got that. Let me go into the next one. Let me first, what have I got in here? Okay, now, not this one. I don't want this one. Let me see, let's see what's here. What's in this one? Okay, now, guys, you saw the Federal Coat of Arms. This is the map of contraption location 9. I'll tell you why this contraption is location 9 very soon. Now, here is River Niger, as you can see, coming all the way from there, somewhere there, and it flowed through Mali, and then it entered into Nigeria from there. And this is River Benue. And this was the same thing you had here. There. That's exactly what you've got. And that is that. Niger, Benue, and that was where they met, and then they both flow together. And obviously, everyone can see at the bottom where they form different fingers and they emptied themselves into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, take note of that. We will come back to that. Now, here, just a minute, guys. Let me just reduce this one. Now, here, you've got the same formation. Nigeria, you can see the Niger River. You can see Kanji Reservoir, which is Kanji Dam there, and Benue. And there, Makodi, Lokoja here, and you can actually see them again flowing down. And that's Port Harcourt, Calabar, ideally, the whole of this place, Eastern region, Western region. You can see that. And then they've got, well, I'll tell you, just take note of that one too. Now, let's go map 3. What have we got in map 3? Okay, this one, you can see before the fraudulent amalgamation of the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate. You can see that. Now, here, the amalgamation of the 1st of January 1914 by Lord Lugard. Now, you can see Protectorate of Southern Nigeria. And you can see that boundary that the British created. So, the whole of this boundary here was the Southern Protectorate. And then the whole from there were Protectorate of Northern Nigeria. You can see that. And then you can see Colony and Protectorate of Southern Nigeria. And then you can see the whole of the North, what was allocated to them by the British. Okay, let's go. It's gonna get interesting. What have we got here? Now we've got the same map, and you can actually see Nigeria 1900. You can see that. Not that we made this up. Nigeria 1900. And there, Protectorate of Northern Nigeria 1900 to 1914. And you can see the demarcation there. It runs across there. So the whole of this line that you're seeing They are all Southern Protectorate. And obviously, you can see the Lagos Protectorate there. And you can actually see areas included in German Cameroons from 1893 to 1916, administered provincially by Great Britain from 1916 to 1922. British mandated territories from 1922 to 1960. So because of that argument that the fraudulent APC presented against the other candidate, this was where that came from. But what we are bothered about, we're not bothered about that. But this, take note of that. Let's go into the next slide. This one. Now, here we are. You see, the problem of Nigeria then started. You can see regions of Nigeria 1963 to 1967. Now, Daddy Alex Ajala said something in relations to 1959, because I took some dates, and then 1957, you said something that the South were waiting for their brothers in the North because the British wanted to grant independence in 1957 alongside Ghana to their Southern Protectorate. But the entire people here on the Southern Protectorate, according to you, Daddy, and according to information, researched information, they were waiting for these people, uneducated, unintelligent Northerners.
No,
hoping.
Please don't use that word.
Okay.
Sorry.
I will withdraw that. I'll just go straight. Yes. So they were waiting for their brothers in the northern region. Now, in the process of waiting for their brothers in the northern region, the people here in the north, they were so clever because there's been disunity amongst the western region and the eastern region. Out of that disunity, you can see they then divided the South far more into three. And they left.
Excuse me. Can I chip in there? Can I chip in there why Midwest came up? With the colonial masters, there was agitation right from the 47 up to the creation of the Midwest by the different sub-regions that were uncreated. The Middle was supposed to be created. There were three other new regions: the Northern region, the Western region, and the Eastern region. So if they were to follow the right path, the Middle Belt region will be created alongside the Midwest and alongside with the core river regions, Calabar, Ogoja region, Calabar, Ogoja region, which it was called core. And that was one of the arguments the people of those areas had with Ojukwu on August 1967, that now that we are going into a new country called Biafra, will you grant us our age-long request of our Calabar Ogoja region? And if he had done that, because we discussed this with Ojukwu some years before he died, that if he had known, he would have granted them that, then you would have still been able to, like I said, sign an agreement of cooperation with these people, and Biafra would have gone then. It was his refusal, and his refusal to grant them that region within the Eastern region he was not taking. Eastern region was created by the British. It was not created by Ezekwe. It was not created by anyone. So
that was the old Southern Protectorate.
Hold on. If he that session had gone in 1961 to the Cameroons. We lost that by one vote, by 1%, 49 to 51%. And Balewa campaigned in the northern area and got the Southern province into northern region to boost their size. So what I'm trying to explain so that everyone knows, because I lived through the period and have scripts of paper about all these things that happened then. I'm sorry I have to make that correction. Yeah, thank God for that. And maybe that's a reason why God has given me long life to be able to explain these things. So it was not a disunity. It was a political decision at the center by the NCNC and the MPC to rub the western region in the nose, so as not to be able to boast that they are the most developed area. And people like Omo Osage of Benin and some others, Sadebe, were very much interested in initially
The Midwest.
Before the Midwest came. The people of the Midwest, which composed some Igbos and the western shores of River Niger, had asked the British officers of the time at the center that they want to join their brothers in the east because they are Igbos. But why they stopped agitating was when free education was introduced to
the Western region.
So they were in the Western region before, but they were agitating to go to the east.
With the east.
And then Midwest now came up, and Daily Times, if it goes back to their archives, if they have not burnt it, Daily Times were promoting the fact that the West was very tribalistic, using that word wrongly anyway, that they don't want other people to have regions. Whereas the ruling party, the NCNC and the MPC, prevented the creation of the Middle Belt region and the core region, but created only the Midwest. Is there any fairness in that? Yes, they created only the Midwest at the center. It was like the central government was behaving like a feudal oligarchy against.
That is the government from the northern region that was ruling at the time, the NPC.
Yes, but they were assisted by the NCNC.
By the NCNC, by the Zeke party.
The Zeke party. And one last point I want to clear is that they tried to promote the image tribalism in Western Nigeria, which I always say is the wrong word to use. So I will stop so far
which has been in existence all through now, because that tribalism is actually the core of what is taking us back. All right.
I'm afraid I refuse
that tribalistic tendencies or plans that has been so created from the creation of Nigeria.
Let me correct that. This is one thing all of us have been guilty of. If I'm not speaking English language to you, I think you are Igbo, isn't it? Are you?
I am, sir.
Okay. Now, was it possible that if the British did not create Nigeria, I would not call the Igbo area a tribe, because they are a specific they have a very clear definition of a republican system.
Yes.
Okay. So it is within the Igbo land. When you now talk of people from Owerri and maybe Abakadi, and then the small units that you can say they are tribal. So not the whole.
Okay.
If you look at anthropological definition of tribe, we have all for the time been sorting ourselves. It is not right. And even if you look at the ancient books written about Africa, when they describe the Yoruba land, they don't say Yoruba tribe. The Igbo land, they talk about Igbo this system where it's mostly Republican, because each area is dependent of the other, and they are large. I look at the maps. I have toured most of Nigeria, and I look at the area. You cannot call those places tribes. So it's not about tribalism. It's about the fact that basically we cannot work together as a nation, because we are not a nation. That's one thing we should all understand. But we can be
Then
friends.
which
We can be friends. We can sign cooperating agreement to construct roads of the same quality to join ourselves for ease of transportation and trade.
the
You see,
tribalism that is there, sorry, sir.
I'm
Sorry,
afraid.
please. The tribalism that is injected into that is not on the negative aspect, but just pinpointing, or rather saying you are from this
I'm
part
afraid.
of the country.
I'm afraid I still say that we are making a mistake. Our people are different. It's not tribalism. We are not the same people. I would rather use the word we are not the same people. You see, when we keep on banning the word tribalism, we are making a big mistake. I would not call the North a tribal area. They have their kingdoms. They have their emirates. So a very clear definition of a simple English definition that will suit us, all of Africa, we keep on derogating ourselves using the word tribe. We are not tribal. We are different nations within Nigeria, and we are different. And that difference is why I'm advocating for the dissolution of the amalgamation, which the maps he has shown. If, for the first instance, the Southern Protectorate, the colony and Southern Protectorate of Nigeria decides to pull out of the amalgam, yes. And when we pull out, the different areas can now decide what form of government and who they want to work with. That's the bare truth.
I think that was what we needed to discuss based on the initial information I got. It's good you brought it out, and I think the moderators can now go ahead. Let's get straight to the point, because to the best of my knowledge, we have not discussed that. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Let me go to the next
let me
slide.
go to Frank Bello. Hold on. Let's bring Mr. Benjamin into the limelight, and I'll probably give it to my brother in the middle. Let him actually say some few things about the emerging new nation of Nigeria. Go ahead, sir. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
emerging a new nation, like I said, is as old as it is. From what Mr. Jala has been pointing out, and which I have to concur with him, there is need to revisit the amalgam and then see what can be taken out of it for there to be peace in that place. I mean, in that country called Nigeria. If we continue the way we are, I said it earlier, we cannot and not progress. So if that is the discussion for tonight, I'll be very happy to say there is need for Nigerians to revisit what brought us together and see how each ethnic or regions
Nationality, ethnic nationality.
can stay on their own at peace. There is no peace in Nigeria at the moment we are discussing this. A country where people are killed, all right, and nothing is happening just because that region did not produce the president is not the best. If you swear an oath to protect your country, then you should be able to achieve that. As it is today, there is need to visit what brought us together and see how we can possibly pull apart, but let it be in peace.
Okay, I think Mr. Benjamin's region has actually experienced so much about this killing of people in Nigeria. Mr. Benjamin, what do you have to say to this? The problem in the Niger Delta area.
Um,
The
I
problem in
think
the
the
Niger
problem in
Delta
Niger
area.
Delta area is as a result of the fact that we are not being carried along properly. You know, if you look at it very well, um, the region that we are talking about, okay, the Niger Delta region, as we call it now, that you see, if you go into that axis, you will realize that this is where the strength of the nation comes from. When I say things like this, it sounds a little bit sentimental. I don't want to be sentimental. I don't want to be rude about things because it can happen anyway. This is a region that is producing most of the energy that is being used in the country. When I say energy, in terms of resources and all that, yet we are not being carried along. The federal government are not doing anything to help the situation, and even the investors themselves are not even doing anything to help that region. When I talk about investors, I'm talking about all the free companies that are there exploring all the resources that we have. They cannot even give us the tiniest thing like corporate social responsibilities that's to reflect that at least they've gone to a place, they are drilling from this place, they are benefiting from here. So as a result, let us give them a simple thing like electricity. There is no light, there is no road network, there is no hospital, there is nothing. All you have in that part of the world is pollution upon pollution. Who is to be blamed? A whole lot of people are to be blamed. Like what Noga was saying, I understand that. And I know there is need for us to actually go back to drawing board right now to see how to restructure the amalgamation the way it was being done. Because from what I collected, there was a lot of mistake, as I said from the onset, right from when that was being done. So in this new generation, I think we should revisit that agreement or whatever that was put in place and restructure it if we want to set the nation into regions for us to live as a nation. Because right about now, as he said, Nigeria is not a country, you know, everybody can see that Nigeria is not a country. So if we want to go back to region as it was originally, I think it has to be, we have to create more regions so that people from different regions, based on their resources, can benefit from what they have. And then you'll begin to see what we call peace in Nigeria. Right about now, they are robbing Peter to pay Paul. When you rob Peter and pay Paul, how do you expect peace? There is no way you can have peace in such environment because even the God Almighty will not be happy about that. So if we
Thank
are to
you.
go back to region as I said, let us go back there. Formerly there was 3 regions. If we want to create it now, I think we have to expand it to about 5 or more. But originally, from my own point of view, I want to believe that the best thing to do in that country, I will support what Chimitana said. We have to go back. We have to go back to drawing board so that we can bring everything that needs to be done into the right table and do it with the right people and do it the right way so that there can be peace in the nation. Currently, there is no peace in that nation. Thank
Okay.
you.
In when it was Western region, there was peace. When it was the whole three formation, there was peace. Yes, that Jala, I'll give it to you in 1 minute. When there was 3 region, why do we want all these pockets of countries instead of just 3 regions back to 3 regions? Put it back to how it was working when things were developing. Why can't we do that? Daddy Ajala want to say something. Before I do that, can I give it to okay, let's go to Daddy Ajala. Daddy Ajala, briefly. Go ahead for that one, sir.
Why the clamor about region or no region? Our people did not have a hand in creating the regions. It was created for purpose of administration and money transfer from the south to the north. It did not concern us. and it did not concern us. I keep on stressing. So we cannot look at the picture of a region and say that's the template for which we are. Our forefathers never had a hand in creating the regions. It was created as a convenience for managing the resources and the people. And they found in the West that we had a very powerful monarchical democracy, and they destroyed it by making our urbs useless in the West. So that's why most of us from the West now deride our urbs. We don't look back at what caused it. What caused it? How did it happen? You see, this is where I'm always coming from. We look at the origin. There's nothing to visit. There's no template for the amalgamation that we are going to visit. The only thing we can look at is that this thing had been wrong. Even the people did it said in their books that it was a temporary matter just to save money for the crown in Britain. And some of the people did great, and financial, because the war in South Africa. So by default, if there was no war in South Africa, Nigeria would not have been created in the first place. The war in South Africa made Britain to be destitute financially, and then they now called on Lugard, who happens to know the North, as he claimed, which from documents he didn't know the North much. He was only interested in playing polo, riding horses in the open plains of the North. And Zungeru was his capital as at amalgamation, if you know. Zungeru was the capital of Northern region before he asked that Kaduna should be made into a capital, because he did not want to stay in the emirates like Kano or Sokoto or Borno. These are some of the things we should understand, and we had begged that we should, when we are coming to say something about this, we should find out the facts. It's all there. It's very simple to know. I'm not a repository of the knowledge. It's all of us. It's just by chance that I'm able to systematically say what was. We are not visiting anything. We are dissolving the amalgam. It does not pay. If an amalgam, if you know business, if you amalgamate some business, if it fails, you dissolve it. Everybody takes its own share and goes away. So, and I also don't agree with the fact that if we divide, where are we going to go to? We have our land. The people of the Igbos have the Igbo land. The Yorubas have the Yoruba land. The Hausas have Hausa land. So they stay in their different lands. Just like I told Adobe through Semisari that it's best for everyone to rule his own place according to his own wish and according to his own wisdom.
Okay, Daddy, can I take this one away from you quickly? Yeah, I'm gonna bring someone in quickly. Uncle, just 1 minute. I'm gonna bring someone in quickly, and please give the person the honor she deserves. She's been there before so many of us. She's gonna introduce herself and she's gonna put a little bit of input. Go ahead, ma'am, please. Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead, please. You're on now.
Okay, thank you very much. My brothers and sisters, I hope that I'm not the only woman on this platform. Well, good evening, and I'm honored to be amongst you. I've been watching this Heritage TV for, I don't know, I saw it maybe a few days ago, and anytime I've tried to hook into it. It's a great program, and COVID-19 has brought a lot out and have given a lot of people boldness and even opened the eyes of a lot of people to see that what we are discussing and what we've been talking about is very...
Before you go ahead, could you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, sorry, I didn't do that. Okay, I'm very sorry. My name is Ann Kio Briggs. I am from Rivers State. I am from the Niger Delta geopolitical zone and region, and I am also of the Jaw indigenous ethnic nationality. And so, I do agree, first of all, that Nigeria is a combination of nations, it's a combination of nationalities. Even the people that amalgamated us definitely recognized that fact. We also recognize the fact that we are very distinct and very different. So these are very established facts, and it is really from that point that we should be approaching the changes that we want in Nigeria. Now, the COVID-19 issue, because of the lockdown and the fact that governors are doing different things in their states, have shown us that we can actually approach these things from the position of states. Within these states, you have ethnic nationalities. Now, the Yorubas are a people that occupied the 6 states. They hear each other's language and understand each other's dialects to a very large extent. The same with the Indigbos. And in the Niger Delta, for us, it could be fortunate, and sometimes it may be an issue, that we have a lot of ethnic nationalities within the Niger Delta region, same in the Middle Belt. So it is really, it is dragging us back when some people who were born after the Civil War are talking about asking people from the Niger Delta, what is the meaning of Niger Delta, and where is the Niger Delta? We don't need any of these things. And this is where people who are better experienced, if you like, or even have better information as to how we have come to be, must begin to sit down and have this sort of discussions that we're having. Nigeria, in my opinion, and I was born in 52, and I was in Nigeria. I left the UK with my dad and came into Nigeria before independence, and therefore I have a lot of experience of historical facts that I don't have to read from a book that I experienced, and that's where I am coming from. Now, definitely, Nigeria has reached the point where if we do not recognize and respect the identities of our separate people, then we have to go our separate ways. As a matter of fact, I think that it is actually just the only way out. Now, it is the fear of the unknown, I believe, that is holding a lot of people back. To continue to insist on a historical fact that the British created the northern region before independence, and then we continued with it, the northern region, the western region, and the eastern region. And we're actually saying that they didn't actually create the southern region. They created 3 different regions. Now, where the problem is seated today is that eastern region, that they put both the south and the east together as an eastern region, and that is where we have a lot of the ethnic nationalities, the Igbos, the Efiks, the Shekiri, the Bibios. There's so many of us, and we have to, there is just no way that we can move forward as the different people we are without accepting that people must establish their nationalities. I am Ijo. You cannot tell me that I am not Ijo, that I am from old eastern region. What is that? Now, the bite of Biafra is a word that was at the bottom of the map, and we know why it was there. The British are the people that drew the map and put it there. Now, during the war, the name Biafra was chosen because it suited what they were driving, Ojukwu and some other people were driving, which in my opinion is the same thing that other people are trying to do today, which is to find a way out. In 1975 or before that, Gowon actually change that name to the Bight of Bonny. So we cannot continue to be dragging ourselves back if we are claiming that we want to move forward. These are historical facts. We can refer to them, but we cannot recreate them unless we agree. And this is the difficulty I am finding. We have to agree. What is it that we want? Do the Yorubas want Oduduwa Republic? If they do, as an Ijaw person, I want to support them to get Oduduwa Republic. It doesn't mean I want to be part of Oduduwa Republic. I'm not Yoruba.
Thank you.
If Igbo people want Biafra Republic, I support them. My grandmother, my father's mother is Igbo. I support them. But I am Ijaw, and I want a separate entity for my people now. What we want in the Niger Delta and must do, and some of my brothers are on this platform with you now, is that we must very quickly come together, the Ibibio people, the Urobo people, Shekiri people, and ask ourselves, do we want a separate entity for Ijaw people, for Ikwere people, for Goni people, for Ibibio people, for Urobo people, or do we want a loose federation? And if there is any people that can actually have a loose federation, and maybe that is the solution for our own very typical problem, is the Niger Delta people, because we have many ethnic nationalities. But that is for us to decide. It is not for other people to impose it on us. All of us are looking for the same thing, I believe. Everybody wants a change. Now that change, we must support each other to get that change and stop knocking each other. If the Yoruba man says he wants this thing, then other people say, no, you can't trust the Yoruba man. He has done this, he has done that. Then who trusts the next person? So we must see our faults and work with those faults. And we must see what can work for us and work with those things. But to round up, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, there is no doubt in my mind today, as I speak to you, that the only way forward is to make a decision. Not that we should sit down, Nigeria, do a conference, and all. We've passed that, because I was in the national conference and I know the outcome of it. We must state our position as different ethnic nationalities. Well, this is what I want, this is what I want. And if you see that you can work with me in the things that I want, and I can work with you, then we can move forward and we can get something done. But can we continue the way we're going in Nigeria? Absolutely not. There is an invasion that has been going on since 2015. This invasion of people from the northern part into the southern part of Nigeria has been going on. It is just that they have decided to use the COVID-19 as another entry point to do what they are doing under the pretext of it is one Nigeria. The Constitution says anybody can live anywhere. I accept, but the Constitution does not give you the right to move into my community and take over my community because you're a Nigerian. Right. Because we're not even sure that how do we know that they are Nigerians? How do we know that these people are Nigerians? How do we know that they are not these Boko Haram people that Chad has just handed over to the Nigerian military? Nigerian military keeps telling us they've captured them, they have repented and all those things, but we don't see them. So where are they integrating them into? They're bringing them down south. That is what they're doing. So my people, my brothers, we need to take this thing forward, not backward. Thank you so very much for allowing me this time. I'm grateful.
Wow. We are so honored to have you, Mommy. We tap into our experience, and I'm actually trying to bring together the Niger Delta people.
Before,
you want to say something to Mommy? Okay, Mommy, I'm gonna disconnect you from here. You can put your system back on and actually listen from there.
I want to
say something to her
before you disconnect her. Did she attend the last the last so-called conference or the first one?
I will let you discuss that with her privately.
Okay, now on that one. I have been in touch with a lot of people from the Niger Delta. The people like Leduminte and all that, Oroto Douglas, we've had meetings together in London. What I believe is that if Ogoni people of maybe 500,000 people want to be a country, let it be. Liechtenstein in the middle of Europe is only 36,000 people. It's a country that contests the World Cup with even England. They have 70 police officers in that country. And when they want to play their international match, they will invite police officers from the neighboring country, Austria and Germany, and this thing. After the match, they pay them off and they go back to their country. Badum is their capital. It's a working nation on its own. I use the word nation because they are people of common origin. And this is where we are making mistakes. And I want to say emphatically, the people of the Niger Delta, either the Bibios, the Ijos, and the Shekiris and Urubu, if they want to agree to be in one single country, it's their own right to decide, not us. We cannot force different nations that exist in Nigeria into what we want. They have to make the decisions, as our lady said. I support that position because I've always told them, and I sent a map to them sometime in 2014 when there was a meeting in Calabar, and I was supposed to be online with them. I was in Nigeria then. Unfortunately, the line went dead. I sent a map showing that there's already an Islamic Republic, sovereign Islamic Republic existing in Nigeria, and we are looking at it at our own peril. Yet people go about doing political accommodation of APC, PDP. That was the death of us.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. We really have. I'm going to give it to Benjamin because before I come to you, let me give it to Benjamin. He's from Niger Delta. You're from Niger Delta, Benjamin. You heard what the Lioness herself said. What do you have to say?
Yes, I really want to say thank you to Mrs. Briggs because she's in a struggle. She knows exactly what we are facing. You see, we in the Niger Delta, we are not trying to be sentimental or we are trying to be or tribalistic, as they say. What happens here is that we have not been agitating for our Niger Delta state just like the Biafrans are doing. And if you look at the map, or if you look at the current way they've structured the country now, if you say Niger Delta states, you start from counting Abia State, Imo State, which is part of the other
part of Niger Delta.
Part of us. You have Abia State, you have Imo State, you have River State, you have Akwa Ibom, Cross River, you have Edo State, and you even have a state like Ondo State in the middle. That makes it 9. If you want to count the
can we go back to that? Can we go back to that? Maybe the moderator wants us to hook. Oh, because you are talking. Because I wanted to show the map as you are talking.
Okay.
No, it's okay. I think we are following him.
Yeah. Go on.
Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, if you look at currently, if you Google Niger Delta states of the Federation in Nigeria, right? You will see that you have a state like Abia State, you have Imo State, you have Cross River, you have Akwa Ibom, you have River State, you have Delta State, you have Edo State, you have and I think the 9th is Ondo State, which is almost part of the West. So depending on how it is structured, then they still consider it to be part of Niger Delta. You understand? Okay, fine. This is up to them to accept if they are Niger Delta. But if you call us South, from the South approach, you will see that we have 6 states of the Federation, which is Cross River, Akwa Ibom, River State, Bayelsa, Delta State, and Edo State. All right. So those six South states, we are always together. We're always doing this together. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm saying is I respect Biafra's agitation so much. Honestly, I respect the Biafrans. They have the right. They have whatever it takes to do what they want to do. But my problem right there in the middle, as my sister said, was that, you see, it has come to a point that you cannot force things over our throats. If you want to create Biafra nation and you want our support, or you want us to be part of it, you have to do the needful. You have to do your bare consultations, consult everybody, and ask them one at a time. Are you guys interested in joining us? Just like Chief said, you have to we have to come to a roundtable discussion. You have to tell us what belongs to us. We have to tell you what we want. You see, so now that the country has gone cuckoo, right, and you can see that everyone is trying to say, you know what, we want to succeed, we want to stand on our own. We, the people of Niger Delta, are now saying to ourselves, listen, if we are the ones, or if we are a region now, we know that we have other people that we have understandings with. We can also form our own nation. So, as I said, anybody that wants to form his own nation, or a group of persons that wants to form whatsoever they want to form, just for them to have their freedom or whatsoever they want to arrive at, they are free to do that. They are free to do that as long as you have what it takes to do that. When you want to succeed, there are criteria to it. As long as you meet up with the criteria, you can go ahead and do it. Just like they will want people down. Look at it. Jim was saying before that they have done their own consultation. They are not trying to force anybody into the whole picture. They'll just keep it open. If you are interested, you identify yourself and you get on the struggle. This is exactly the way we in the Niger Delta are trying to keep our struggle. We don't want you to tell us about your own struggle. We want to talk about our own struggle. If you want us to help you on your struggle, we can help you on your struggle because we are one Nigeria, or we are one people. So we can always work collectively. We have our own desire, our own which is the Niger Delta state. So to conclude the whole conversation, we don't have time. My point at the end of the day is that we in the Niger Delta region, we need our own freedom. We need our own world, just like every other person.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna give it to my brother because he wants to say something before I give it to you. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I think what I wanted to say,
Has been said.
has been said in a way, but our sister that you hooked online has really said it all. She has said it all, because at the end of the day, this is what we are talking about. When you have a marriage that is not working, what next? Will you die in that marriage?
No.
You better look for a way out. How can I, as an Igbo man, doesn't have the same freedom as an Hausa man? Let us discuss about how we are pulling apart and move forward. All right, Mr. Jala has wealth of experience when it comes to about talking about Nigeria formation and what it was and what it is now. I have really learned a lot from him, and I think our dearest sister who just called, very sound, knowing what she wants to say and has made it. Let us speak from what they have said and move this discussion forward. If it is something I have to spend the night for. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Let's go to Daddy before I go back to Frank Bello. Or what should we do? Should we continue a little bit about that presentation, or should we abandon that presentation? If you want us to continue with the
let's go through the slides. I think let's go through the slides. I'll make it very fast.
1 minute. Go ahead, sir.
Sorry. Let me just say this. The presentation has showed us how Nigeria was. And I don't know if he has any pungent reason why we should go to that presentation. He should go to the very slide that we prepare this discussion.
Okay,
all right?
go to the current.
Achieve.
Yeah. Okay, go to the current quickly. While you're going to the current, I'm gonna give to Daddy to speak because he wants to say something. Daddy Ajala, over to you, sir.
Well, there's some interesting facts. I'm happy that my colleagues, the
lioness,
my colleagues, all of you are listening to what I have to say, because I want to share everything I know from a long time with everyone. I keep on stating we have to dissolve the amalgam, and to do it, we have to have a chronological reason why we have to dissolve it. We are not visiting any paperwork of Lugard. Lugard in his time, we're going to make reference that even as at the time it was created, most of the colonial officers were very angry about the merger. Like Dr. McGregor, who created the McGregor Canal that got the brunt of the bombing of Ikeja cantonment. You know, a lot of people died in the canal. He was trying to create a new London in Lagos by draining all the rivers and ponds and removing the mosquito to create a livable environment, and which was what he was also trying to create in the rural areas, livable environments for the people to be able to work and produce so that they can continue the marketplace they actually came for. They came to create a marketplace for themselves. They did not come to create a nation for us. Of course, it's not a nation in the first place. So I am very uh, happy that this avenue has come up. There's a lot. We have to do a chronological analysis of the reasoning why. And apart from this discussion, some of us will now have to be depositing facts and figures and why that country has come to its end. It's come. We don't want it to crash down. We want to ease out, and that's what Pa Adeniran of 134 Bangboshi Lagos said in his book, Peaceful Dissolution of Nigeria. Even the National Assembly bought 360 copies of that. All of them have it in the last government. They still have it. They know. They in my own book. Most of them do have it. Adebayo has it. The Obasanjo's too. Everywhere they know this fact. Like someone mentioned that we are scared to say the truth. The truth will make us free. And I think this will be discussing now. We are not talking about corruption because corruption is not the issue. Corruption just took advantage of the mess, the incongruity, the lack of that. We cannot say we are united. One Ghanaian was telling me that that ridiculous statement to keep Nigeria one is a tag. Was it ever one? Or are we talking about the branches that bound it against the French and well, we are surrounded by French territories now. The Germans are no longer there against the French territories that surround us. So we should think, we should now write down why each one of us should write a reason. It's not about corruption. We are not the same people. Well, again, one of the basic things again was about the 1959 election, which is detailed in one of the books I showed earlier, where somebody who said Nigeria, the shadow of a great nation. The details, chronological details of the election constituencies is there. And the lie that some of us did not want to be part of this or that is all there. We are going to bring all this out to the open forum so that our people, young and old, some of the old ones will remember what I'm saying. Some of the young ones who were born after independence will also now start to learn about their beginning. Because, like I said to some, if you say you don't go to history, then it means you were not born. Because history starts from the day you were born. And then from that day you were born, you now extend backwards. What was there before I was born? Then you know. And that is why I have that three-step statement: yesterday, today, tomorrow. It's very important in the nature of things. And that is where science comes in. That's where technology comes in. And every other thing that comes into life. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Daddy. I think the way things are looking now, we're getting a good solution to some of our problem. But can I say something? You know the formation, the new formations will not be done by Nigerians, but it will be done by the international community. I hope you understand that. Hello? Okay,
Yep.
my brother wants to say something. Go ahead, sir.
No, no, good to hear that from you. Go
Yeah.
ahead, please. Sorry.
Yeah. The formation will be done by the international community. And one of the reasons I brought this one up is because I had they trying to create three. That is why I couldn't sleep all night long because my phone was not silent. My phone was just going on and on and on and on and on and on. And there have been so many arguments from that side to that side to that side to that side to that side. And I look at it, and some few people were pressing for about 5 or 6 states. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Sorry, just note where you stopped. And the simple question I want to ask:
Yeah.
is it the same people that balkanize Nigeria that wants to recreate Nigeria?
The people that will recreate Nigeria will be United Nations, not ourselves, not the British. And the United Nations was
No.
powerful now than before. Does that answer your question, Daddy? Uncle?
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Okay, Daddy Ajala, go ahead.
Well, if that is the information you are having, I'm thinking that whoever is binding that and whoever is pushing that is wrong. The people decide where they want to align with, and that is the fact. Just like what our lady said earlier, you cannot now. If you do that, you are now creating a new mess
Problem.
called mini Nigeria.
Okay.
You cannot do that. You
Okay.
like us, we have to go on the line of the people. The people matter, and that is where, fortunately, somehow Western region consider the people when it established free health service for the people, free education for the people, agricultural
Sir,
extension service
let me
for the
come in,
people.
sir. Let me come in.
And
I
so,
think what you are
hold
trying,
on.
I think what you are trying to say, this is to the United Nations and not for this discussion, because this is not the forum that we recreate whatever we are discussing. I think we have to get prepared to tell the United Nations, if you do this, this is what it's going to lead to. All right?
The
And I
United
will crave
Nations,
your indulgence. I will crave the indulgence of the moderator to possibly, when you have made your presentation or speech, to continue to, for me, is an education, and that is where I am interested. Then we can provide some solutions that can help us move the discussion forward.
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you very much for that. Uh,
eh,
Daddy, go
for
ahead.
purpose of clarity,
Okay.
the United Nations cannot decide what, the number of nations we are going to have for us. It cannot.
No,
We are the ones
he just
saying,
mentioned it to us. No, he just mentioned it to us. Sorry, please. He just mentioned it to us, and our own is to continue to listen to him first before possibly opinions asked, and then we can know what to
because
do.
they belong. Because when Soviet Union broke up, the United Nations did not tell them how many new states are going to emerge. When Czechoslovakia broke up, the people met and decided they do no longer want this amalgam. The amalgam was in 1919. Even the Soviet Union amalgamation itself also is younger than ours. So we have lived our own time. The same thing, the East
Okay.
Timorese and also Southern Sudan, which is very contentious because I was part of the people who observed their election, and I warned them that you are different nations inside Southern Sudan itself. You are not the same people. You have to create new regions immediately you gain your independence from the north. And that was 6 months before the shooting that happened. I called my pointsman in Southern Sudan to warn him that you've not done what I advised you during the election period to do. You are trying to say I give a post for one person and another. No, you have to create activity. And that is what we should do in Nigeria too. People should learn to listen to the words of the environment.
Okay. Let me continue with that one. Okay. It is not the people might want. 1 second. 1 second, Uncle. Yeah. You're saying something. You want to say something?
No, no, I said you, the moderator, should
Go back.
unearth or reel out what you want us to discuss so that we will follow you through and not we setting the agenda.
Okay.
You know.
So
So you go ahead, please.
what I want to say is this: when they're gonna divide Nigeria, some
Yeah.
few people will sit down in the round table and decide how it's going to be broken up. I can
Okay.
assure you, the people that will decide if they're up to 20, we are very lucky. But I don't think they will be up to 20. They might have meeting, inside meeting, and diplomacy and influence meeting to say, can I influence this? Can you influence this? Can you do that? But these people of Southern Sudan are not the one that said this is how it should be created. If I want to tell you something now, if they depend on the people of South Sudan, there will be more states out of Southern Sudan than what it is now. Because knowing what African are, knowing what we are, knowing who we are, I was saying something to the people that brought me to this agreement in the first case. I said, okay, today you said you want to break up Nigeria. That is the best thing. Amalgamation. What they amalgamated before was the north, the south, and the east and the west, or whatever they put together before. Are you telling me that 60 years again down the line, Ogun State will not come and say, I don't want to be part of this Yoruba anymore? Or your state will not come and say, I don't want to be part of this thing again. And then Lagos State will say, I want to stand on my own. Then Ondo State will say, no, I don't want to be part of them. I want to be on my own. This is why there's always some few people. Even before the amalgamation in 1914, some people will have kicked against it. To say, no, don't do it this way. This is the best way. This is the best way. But they see at that time what best suit the situation at that time. And that is
I
what they've
think
done.
can I quickly chip in,
Go
please?
in, yeah.
Can I quickly chip in?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. I think with the Nigerians never negotiated the 1914 amalgamation. It was fraudulently made. But the people that actually negotiated our federating unit perhaps were at loggerheads. I think Daddy Ajala can correct me here. They were at loggerheads with themselves because, number one, I don't really think they were truthful in the sense that Awolowo wanted to rule over Nigeria.
No, excuse me. Awolowo was still a baby in 1914. So let's correct
No,
that.
No,
I
he's not talking about
I wasn't really
1914.
talking about 1914. Sir. He was a baby. I was talking about the real negotiation of our independence right from 1957.
Okay,
So
that was
this one,
1915 in Lancaster House.
Can I say
yeah,
this
at Lancaster House.
from when I a student of history. Now the British knew that if you give leadership to the South, they will not derive what they wanted in Nigeria.
That's true.
And
That's
that was
right.
why,
That's right.
And that was why they gave it to the North. I said it in my opening speech. Northerners are friends to British. If you want to talk about Nigerians going to their various nations or wherever, and you want to bring in the British, is going to fail. So, like in the Littleton Constitution, the argument postulated by so many intelligent Nigerians were not allowed to go through. Therefore, they decided that the North should take the lead
Should
because
give
they
them
know.
greater autonomy.
All right, go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Frank.
Now,
I differ from the records we have of those meetings. The first statement by the chairman of the meeting, Oliver Lutyten, because that's why I say what you said, it was my position before, but I decided to look deep into it, look even beyond. the various statements by Balewa and so on, he was very critical of the creation of Nigeria. Balewa, he said it that we are interlopers in the north. Awolowo said we are mere geographical statement. But Oliver Littleton, during he chairman the conference for the decision for this, he said, "Let it be known that it is the presence of the British that is keeping all of you together. This is not about imperialism. You make your decision now." One of our leaders, of who I will leave his name, two of our leaders from the south, one of them said, "We have just come to discuss our independence." He did not come with a prepared position statement. He just came up and said, "We just come for you give us independence. When we get home, we shall assume our differences and trash up the details later." And one from the southeast said, "God will not forgive anybody who makes us into a free trade area." It was us who opposed the attempt. So when we keep on biting the words of the British that favor the North and North, we created the situation. And if you know what is called Soviet containment policy, if I am, let's say for example, the African came to Europe to create new countries, and I create a country, and then at the end of the day, part of the country wants to move away, and I know I'm trading with them. Then I now see that there's another body that wants to take part of my trading post. What will I do? I will try to protect my interest when the people I'm
Yes.
trying to support refuse to do
Wh-
it. If you go back to the Soviet containment policy of international political scene, you see how up to 1989 it became so strong. But
Well,
we
let me cut in here, please. If you say the British
Somebody there.
are clean,
Who
who
okay, it's back.
did they during the Nigerian Biafran War? All right,
what?
because if they had wanted peace totally in Nigeria, they wouldn't have supplied arms and other things needed for Nigeria to survive in that war. But let's leave it at that because we've been having
I
fruitful
understand.
we've been having
We'll come
fruitful
to that.
discussion,
We'll
and
come to that.
let us focus
Let me tell you why
on what we need to do.
that situation happened, which is even contained in this man's book, Frederick Forsyth, and even the other books that are available. If I tell you, if Ujuku had agreed to the meeting of Pai Kine and his old Rachel Geda, Sisi Kogbara, about the creation of core river state within Biafra that time, there would have not been any war. I'm telling you
All
that.
right, all right,
And
all
that's
right, all right, sir.
hold on. Because uh, when we confronted Ujuku after the war, some of us who happen to be friends of the Igbos, he said, "Oh,
You are still a friend. You
but
are still a friend to
hold
the
on.
Igbos.
Yes, that's why I'm still supporting the fact that we should all agree that we should dissolve it. There's no parchment. Agree to dissolve the country. And whoever is trying to create new territories for us, we refuse. Our people should decide which territory should be which.
Okay.
It's not happening. Because other new nations
Okay.
that happen, check the record. There are over 36 new countries in the last 40 years in the world now. And so we should
Yeah.
not be an exception. And it's going to affect
They,
a
I
lot
want
of
to.
things. And one
I want
last thing
to.
that I
Mr.
just
Mod-
Pre-
just
Mr.
pre-
Moderator, Mr. Moderator,
one last thing. We should
sorry
not
to cut you, yeah?
we should not be taken by the West by some international bodies that Nigeria is too important. This thing, how important are we when the people are suffering, when places that should be productive are unable to produce. For example,
Agree with you,
from
sir.
19
Agree with
Lagos that is supposed to be a center of industry and commerce has no electricity, no roads, no railway. The same thing, Enugu, Onitsha, Asaba, even the rickety road that was the railway bridge that was built across the thing was supposed to be a 10-lane road bridge. How many lanes are there? in
All
the
right.
64.
Thank you. Frank?
I want to ask Daddy Ajala, very, very tough, difficult question. And that question is, why is the North scared of dividing Nigeria? Now, over to you, sir.
It's not a
They're not.
difficult question for him.
It's the political elite that are scared, not the North. The political elite in the North. The average Northerner wants to have an Islamic republic. I have friends among them. Sometimes when I'm talking, I don't hate them. I like them as the people. They are very astute politically, and they want to gain control over other people's land. That has been in their gene right from time of Usman Dafodio. And as at the time, if I let you know, in their book, if they had found oil in the north,
They would have
they
left.
were the driving us out of the so-called Nigeria. Because there are some other things in another discourse I will bring to light, not expose, just bring to light that we don't know. Because we've been told over and over by some of our contacts in the British government that it's our people who are full of perception without thinking deep into why we are, that if we are separate, we will develop more rapidly than what we are. Why should Lagos not have electricity? Do you know Lagos alone should be having 11,000 megawatts of electricity? How many megawatts is Nigeria generating? If anybody can tell me.
3,000 megawatts.
By the analysis of development economy, Lagos should be having 11,000 megawatts at least.
But the whole country is generating 3,000 megawatts.
Yeah.
All right. Frank, has he
And
answered
they
your question?
maintain the expansion.
Yeah, yeah.
So the North is not afraid of this thing. Those politicians who are talking about we should not divide, they are looking at their interest of their oil blocks in the South. This thing. And we will talk about those oil blocks. You see, in other countries of the world, if a pipeline passes through the villager's frontage, the length of that pipeline, there be royalty for the man who has that house forever and
Yeah,
ever.
just like in America, if you find oil in someone's plot, you continue to pay royalty until that oil well dries
Thank
up.
you. You see, these
Yeah.
are the things we have not been looking at. We have been looking at, one election finishes, the next election we are going to. Not looking at what are we doing to ourselves? We are,
Yeah.
in fact, now you decrease itself, it's another major issue. It should be land registry so that you can use your registered land to borrow money to develop it and pay back the bank. But the land use decree, no.
Okay,
We
Was
thank
were
you.
land was land use decree fraudulent? Yes or no?
Yes, it is a fraudulent this thing. I have papers I can present on that too.
Okay. Moderator?
Guys, I really want to say a very big thank you to you. We've been enlightened, maybe not fully enlightened, but we've been enlightened enough to know a bit of right from left from what we're supposed to know. Today, because of the time we start, it's a bit difficult to trash out everything completely. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who has joined this program today. You've been wonderful. I hope when Nigeria finally becomes what it's supposed to be originally, we will still be friends and trade together without any problem. Because there's no
Moderator, sorry. You did not finish your explanation
on that
on
one. Okay, let me go back
on
to
that
that one
because
quickly.
I and I couldn't have stayed this long time in the night without taking
Getting that
something back.
information. Okay, let me go back
All
to
right.
that
So
one
can you
quickly.
give us the information and possibly give people a minute just to round up?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that anyway.
Oh, that's coming.
When you finish that information, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, what normally happens is that when a country is about to break up, right, they invite people from some few regions and say, you want to break up, you want to break up, you want to break up, you want to break up. Initially, they were thinking the north, the east, the west, and the east, because that was the main issue there before, until the Niger Delta issue cropped in. So, to make them aware that what they were planning, the west and the eastern and the northern region, is not going to work. This is why we want to discuss this. And we're going to discuss this more and more and more, because let me tell you one thing for sure. There are so many platforms that make noise. Heritage is not making noise. We're actually passing information to the right channel so that things can be done. What we want can happen. Because if they don't know what we want, they will just pick some few people from us, and then the few people will go and say, this is what these people want. And that is what is going to happen. When they went, all these people came to England in the 50s to negotiate independence. Not all Nigerian goes. They just pick some few allied from us. And that is what happened. Daddy, yes or no? Daddy Ajala?
That's right.
Yeah.
But in the north, they informed their people, and that was why they came with prepared paper to make their position known to the conference. But like I said,
Okay.
the southern regions, including the Cameroons, did not come with any paper. They came because they came as what the Igbo man would call akuko.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand. Don't worry. One day we'll talk about Akuko one. Moderator. Moderator, go on so that we go
Okay.
to bed.
So
They were so full of themselves,
okay.
and then they got messed.
Let me tell you, I wasn't around when they were negotiating this independence, but from what I heard and from some few information from the backyard, when the Yorubas and the Igbos want to go and negotiate the independence, the Yoruba goes as they invite me. The Hausa goes there and said, "Okay, what are we going to discuss today?" They ask them. And they discuss it among themselves. The Yorubas, the Igbos, or the Easterners, and the Westerners, because it's not only the Yoruba and the Igbo that lives in the South. There are more people that live there who are not Igbos, who are not Yorubas. You understand? Because we don't inform our people. And sometimes we tend to believe we know too much. And we know it all. And this is some of the things that finish us. And this platform is there so that these people, somebody was asking, who are the people that will sit down and divide Nigeria? It's not going to be me and you that will divide it. We can only input from platform like this. Some of our people will go. If you know the amount of meeting, even with the lockdown now that is going on, going to Nigeria for meeting and coming here for meeting. So don't tell me that they're not coming or they're not going to Nigeria. High delegate meetings are happening in Nigeria
it's ongoing
now. Right? One of the British high profile people was in Nigeria last week.
last Thursday.
Thursday night. Right? And the airspace is closed. But it's not closed for all those kind of delegate meeting because they see this as a major issue. If we escalate more than where it is now, There's a bigger war coming in Nigeria, and we don't want
Yeah.
war.
There's not going to be
But
a war.
you
But
have
how many
already, we have already
countries you
seen the
have?
signs. We've
Yeah,
already
but
seen the signs. The question now is why relocating people that have no basic for such to southeast, southwest.
Okay,
Now the
I will
question
See,
is why
Almanjiri.
is it happening?
I will
Why is
explain
it
that a little
happening?
bit to you.
There is
Number one,
something to it more than what we have known.
yes,
And I think you have to revisit this discussion next time so that we'll be all well prepared to go, because I don't want you to
yeah,
showcase this and people doesn't know what we are talking about. It has to
yeah,
be really well focused, all right? That individuals should make presentation that will bulldoze anything down for this kind of happenings not to take place. I mean, Nigeria is as old as it is, and I think they need to be born again. Being born again is now to your tent, O Israel. All
okay,
right?
thank
There's no
you.
two ways about it.
okay.
There is no two ways
The
about it.
reason, one of the reasons they might be moving the Almajiris or the people they were moving, because we don't know who they're moving, whether Almajiri, whether ISIS, whether Boko Haram, we don't know. But if they're gonna divide, they want these people to be there already. When they
No,
want,
they,
when British left when British prepared to leave the EU, they didn't kick every EU that are going to be in England. They're not gonna kick them out. And this is a resources for them to have input in the distribution of the wealth, because the Northerners, they don't have much. The only thing they
And I will
have
tell
is
you,
land.
I will tell you
I
what will
decide.
happen.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
decide.
I will tell you what will happen. If they are going to be there, so that when Nigeria breaks apart or pull away, and then they will start attacking whatever region they are, I tell you, you can't come to my land. Chinua Achebe said, you can't come to my house and defecate on the floor.
Yeah.
All right? I will take a stick and hit your head. And that is what a man does. And I'm telling you, they can keep people quite all right. But the owners of the land will triumph.
Yes.
Continue.
Thank you.
Okay. So
Yeah.
one of the reasons they bring in all these people, it might be for war purpose, it might be for occupational purpose, it might be for even COVID-19 purpose. Because the doctors that came from China, we understand they went up north, and people in the north are dying in thousands. So
Yeah.
does it mean the doctors are not doing their job? One of the ministers in Sokoto died today. Another emir died
I think,
today.
yeah, another emir died.
Today. So
Yes.
because maybe they're not looking after themselves when they said stay at home, social distancing.
Now, my brother, please, moderator.
Mr. Moderator, I think that should be a story for another day, you know, when it
Yes,
comes to COVID.
but
And I just want to say, because we don't have much time to waste, just to
Yeah.
put everything we've said, you know, inside.
I think, yeah, go on.
I think the
Moderator,
problem we have here in
okay.
Nigeria generally is the fact that everybody works up and agitate for a certain thing without due considering due process. Just like we felt 20 times of amalgamation, just like the way the Biafrans are agitating and they've not been able to have their freedom the way they want it. I think the whole thing boils down to lack of consistency in everything you do, lack of consultation. So this should be a wake-up point. This should be a point of return for all of us to go back to our drawing board and really sit down and tackle issues, you know, the way they should be tackled and call the right people upon. Because secession for me, breaking away from Nigeria is not a very big thing. It happens in every other country. Just like the Oduas have made up their mind. Watch it. Watch what I'm saying today. What are the Oduas agitation? You will see what will happen. Within the twinkle of an eye, you will see they will have what they want.
Okay.
Why? Because some of them are people with an ear to the ground. They will sit down, they gather all the information, follow the due process, and do what it takes to get what they want. So I believe everybody, the Igbos, the United, everybody should go back to their drawing board and do the needful. Then come out, as a people and agitate for certain things. Because if you even look at, for example, if you look at Biafra, for example, you have different factions in Biafra. Some people are not even agreeing to what Nnamdi Kanu is doing. Meanwhile, he has a good vision. He's trying to do, maybe he's doing it the other way around. I'm not trying to discredit him. He has a very good vision. He wants to move into another direction. But the problem there is that there is no due consultation. Even within the Igbos, they have separated themselves. They are not in agreement to that. So when you have such situations in the country,
can I say something to you quickly?
There's no way you can succeed.
One of the
when you do
people,
that due consultation, you know who is your own person. You know that you've told me what to say in the meeting. By the time we go to the big boys, and everybody will say it in one voice, and we will achieve what we will achieve. But the way we're going about right now, I am agitating for this, the other one is agitating for the other one, that one is doing this. There is no unity, so we cannot conclude. So that's the problem we have. So we should listen, it as a learning curve from this moment to go back to our drawing board and work together as a people and actually know what we're looking for.
okay, quickly. One of the reasons the Biafran has not moved so much forward with their agitation in the past is because the people, there is international community, and they need a credible person in the society to start talking and dealing with them. And if you don't have a credible person in the community, in that agitation, you're not going anywhere with that agitation.
Yeah, of course you can. There's no way that work.
You understand?
We may talk about Biafra and agitation of whatever. Can you now give possibly? I know our dad, Mr. Jala will always have something to say. Just give people, if you have given us a synopsis of what we should have discussed anyway, and I think we need to revisit the discussion again.
Yes, sir.
If a very
8 o'clock on Friday is the combination of all the people that want to be in the new nations. Yoruba can come, the Ijo can come, the Niger Delta can come, the Ibibio can come, the Biafra can come, the Middle Belt can come. Show you the people in authority are watching this, they're listening to this, they're getting hold of this so that they can use it to be informed. The more information we can pass out here is going to make it easier for the internet. I'm still saying this. It is not me and you that make the decision on how it's going to be formed.
When you say people in authority, do you mean the federal government?
No, federal government, there will be a moderator and adjudicator that will come and say, okay, you people are not happy with what you're getting. Let's take A, B, C from the community. Sometimes
I'm afraid.
Go ahead, Daddy.
As the federal government is limp, that's the fact. It is what we decide, and like I said, if we have a chronological list of the reason why we are calling for the dissolution. I'm trying to correct one impression. This is not secession anymore. It's the dissolution of the amalgam.
Dissolution of the nation.
Of the not
the dissolution. But where are we going to arrive at? That is why we're trying to iron out, so that we arrive at where we want, not where
for
some
what
few
we
people
have
want.
For what we have been discussing.
If that is the case, sorry,
Yeah.
please.
And that's sorry, we will be given a platform to defend our case at the United Nations. And if possible, if I can make it, I will call the Chatham House to have a discourse on this. I happen to be a member of the Chatham House, which is in Piccadilly Circus, where some of this
St. James Square.
So because it has come to a level whereby a very serious discourse and repositioning will come, because we don't want development to be interrupted when we eventually dissolve. Because we, in my part, we have a program of development projects that has to start immediately. Whoever wants to pick up on what we have analyzed, pick it up. It's not exclusive to the Yoruba nation, so that we do not have
Daddy,
a
can I do
lapse.
something quickly? Can I release
Yeah.
Mr. Benjamin because he's going to work in the morning, and I didn't tell him it's gonna be this late in the night. And out of compassion, so that next time I want him to come, he can come and support us. Mr. Benjamin,
Okay.
I would like to say a very big thank you for taking out your time from 4 o'clock today. We've been going back and front on this issue so that we can actually tackle this. I really want to say a very big thank you to you for coming to the show today. Do you have anything to say before you go?
Well, I've said it all. It's just about what concerns me and my people. You know me very well. I'm not just a single man player. I'm a team player. You know, and for the fact that a lot of my people are listening to what we are saying, and the fact that Nigerians are also listening to what we are saying right now, and this issue has to do with all of us. You know, as Nigerians, no matter what we are agitating for, no matter what our interests are. What I'm going to say here is that with unity, we can achieve a whole lot. And as our daddy said, we have to have a clear understanding of what we are agitating or what we are fighting for. If we are to say that we should go this way or we should go the other way, we should always do it as a group, right? And unite in the proper way. Then from there, whatever we want will be very easy for us to have. But the way we're going about now, if I have a different motive, you have a different motive, and all that other things, there's no way it can work. So by the time we have unity, we have a united front, everything will take its own place, you know, as it should be. So that's just my advice to everybody. Unity, you know, love and peace, and a clear understanding of what we want. That will take us to another direction. So thanks so much for your time. Thank you for calling me in, and you all have a strong night. Thank you very much.
Okay, before you disappear finally, can I give you an opportunity? Next week, no, I think next week will be too late. Sunday might be better. Next week, Sunday at 4 o'clock, let's organize the Niger Delta team alone, so that I will have 3 people from Niger Delta or 4 people from Niger Delta, and we have a discussion, a conference, an adult discussion. There won't be no insults. There will be no that. There won't be no that. If the people who are insulting are not careful, sometimes some of these conference things will turn the comment off, so that they won't be able to comment. But that is not a good idea. So they need to behave themselves.
No, but you don't have to worry about that, Mr. Moderator. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you. That is part of the struggle. You see, we've seen, like in our group, as I said to you, that I am the chairman, Niger Delta Forum UK. If you look at our group, most times we have lots of people who migrate from like their own group. They have their IPOP group. Because of the fact that they are from Igbo, and because of the fact that we do our Niger Delta things, we have the Imo State and the Adjacent people in our forums. So it usually causes us a lot of problems. So you have people like that who will always say to you, "Oh, we are not talking from this other point of view. We came to you because we are all Biafrans and all this." Fair enough, but they will forget that you are having a very different struggle from what they're having. So sitting by the sideline and criticizing what you say and stuff like that is part of the struggle. So I really don't see anything wrong about that. So you give them a free ground to say what they have to say, you know.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, what matters most is, have you been able to give out the information? Have you been able to sensitize people enough, you know, enough for them to know what that struggle is all about? Then how far have you gone with the struggle? So yeah, it will be a very nice package for us if you can do that.
Okay, we will try and get Lioness again. We get Lioness. We get somebody else from Nigeria and 2 people from you guys in England here. So organize that one. Arrange that one for me. 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Next week Sunday, which is the 16th. No, it will be 16th. Yeah, the 16th. Let's meet again and talk on that one. We will give you 2 hours on this platform where we want to do that. I would really want to say a very big thank you to you. That was Anita and
Please check the date again. It might
Antia,
not be
Antia
16
Benjamin.
weeks.
Antia Benjamin. Thank you very much for coming. That was Antia Ben.
Are you in touch with Roland Ekperi? Are you in touch with Roland Ekperi? Roland Ekperi.
I've tried to get in touch with him, but he's a little bit far-fetched. So but we have other people. We have other that godfathers behind us that we're doing this with.
See, a lot of young people you can see. I have read messages of them. So next time we'll stop. Thank you.
Thank you. That
Take
was
care.
Mr. Benjamin from the Niger Delta Forum. I really appreciate him coming to the show today. He's been very fantastic, very consistent, and have done a lot for us on this program today. I really want to say a very big thank you to him. I'm going to bring Mr. Olayomi Koiki in because we are going to be rounding up in 5 minutes. So before we round up, he can give us the figure for coronavirus in the United Nigeria. Or maybe we should call it.
I beg your pardon, United Nigeria.
We should call it on
beg your
United
pardon.
Nigeria at the moment, and then we take it from there. Something.
I think you better withdraw that United Nigeria.
Okay. So I really want to thank everybody for that seriously, and everybody has been fantastic. If Mr. Olayomi Koiki is online, you need to come in within the next 2 minutes. Otherwise, we will be finishing this, and you won't be able to pass on the figures again. But I'm sure my brother is always there to do his job at his best. Well, I said so, and you'll be so surprised. We'll be here in like 5 seconds now because he's already making his way and walking into the door already. My brother, I want to say a very big thank you to you for coming. Daddy Ajala, I want to say a very big thank you for coming onto the show today. We cannot do this if not because of you. Mr. Ibia, we really, really appreciate you. Frank Bello, that is Olayomi Koiki of Koiki Media. They're just turning up for the show. Fantastic, my brother. You are always on point. Very proud of you. Quickly, are you ready for me? Should we go for the figures now? Go for it, my brother. Figures, coronavirus in Nigeria today.
Yes, we've got the figure still the 3 digits. It's gone down a little bit to about less than 300 in the last couple of days. It's been over 300. But tonight, 248 new cases of COVID-19, and that has now taken us to 4,399 in total. 778 people have been discharged. 143 people have died. In the last few minutes, 2 people that have been following this figure will want to know why the number of deaths is still 143 when we know that death from Kano at some point was over 600 people that died of coronavirus. Whether that figure will still end up coming through or we just neglect that number, there's a lot of question in terms of these official figures compared to cases of coronavirus. What could be more mysterious during this coronavirus? So also we have to also now look at the total number from each of the states, which we're going to. I hope you can still hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right, so let me give us what each of the state breakdown is, and then we can be able to allow all our viewers to go to bed. And 1,145 cases in Lagos. Kano State has got 602 cases. FCT has got 356. Borno State has got 185. Bauchi has got 181. Katsina has got 156. Jigawa State has got 118. Ogun State has got 117. Gombe State has got 112. Sokoto 106. Kaduna has got 98. Edo State has got 79. Zamfara has got 72. Oyo State has got 64. Osun State has got 34. Nasarawa has got 25. Kebbi has got 24. It's got 13. Enugu State has got 10. Ebonyi has got 7. Bayelsa State has got 6. Niger has got 6. Imo State have got 3. Abia State have got 2. Benue State have got 2. Anambra has got 1. Maybe just about 2 states are still no case of coronavirus. I know Kogi State and Cross River State, but we know the NCDC is already in Kogi State, and that will be about it from the report from the coronavirus from the Nigerian Center Disease Control. We do know that in the next couple of weeks, we will see more changes coming through. In terms of the UK, we still have to be staying indoor most times for the next couple of weeks. We hope things will get back to normal very soon. But for now, I will hand over back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Mr. IBM. Once again, thank you very much, Daddy Ajala. Can I give Mr. IBM the platform to have his last closing statement on this one today? And what I will want to say to my brother is that on Thursday this week is the Biafran Day on Heritage Television, and I hope you can create some time to see whether you can actually be part of that. Thank you very much. Go ahead, brother. I think we lost him.
Thank you for the time given to me. I think this discussion will be escalated because it is something that concerns us.